Hello, it's Sonia here, The Pretty Stitch. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, I'm so happy to have you here. So today we are going to be doing an 18-inch doll project. We're going to be making a granny square dress. And to do this, I am using my F-hook or 3.75 millimeter hook. And I'm using DK weight yarn. This happens to be Paintbox DK. And I'm using 4 different colors for this project. And if you do not know what an 18-inch doll is, I have American Girl dolls, but there are other ones out there. Walmart sells a real cute one called My Life. There are Australian girl dolls, Canadian girl dolls. There's maybe next generation, I'm not sure, but there's a whole bunch of different ones. If you Google 18-inch dolls, you'll come up with a whole bunch of different brands and types of 18-inch dolls. So this project should fit a variety of 18-inch dolls. Why don't we get started? So we are doing a little granny square, and you're going to need to make 14. And you can make them all the same color. You can make all different colors. So I'm using 4 different colors, kind of like a patchwork. All right, so to get started, we're going to chain 4. So I have my 4 chains, so I am going to work a double crochet in the 4th chain from my hook. So this is going to be a pretty classic granny square. It's going to be a small one. So that is my double crochet, and I'm going to double crochet again in that same chain. And now we are going to chain 2. So that first chain 3 that we skipped will count as a stitch. Okay, so now we are going to go back into that chain, that first one, and work a double crochet. So there's going to be quite a lot of stitches packed into that. And we're going to go back in. Again, if you want to do magic circle or magic ring, you could certainly do that as well. I'm not the biggest fan of magic circle or ring. I find it to be extremely fiddly and sometimes unreliable. But if you think your magic ring is absolutely bulletproof, then definitely by all means go for it. Okay, so let's continue. We're going to work another double crochet in there. So we have 3 double crochet, but we have a total of 6 with a chain 2 in between. We're going to chain 2, and we're going to repeat working 3 double crochet right back in that chain. And chain 2 and work 3 double crochet again. So we're going to have 4 sets of double crochet, so we have a total of 12 altogether, and that skipped chain 3 does count as a stitch. Sometimes it doesn't, but in this case it does. And we're going to chain 2, and now we are going to join on top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch. And that is round 1 complete. Alright, so let's continue. We're going to slip stitch into the next double crochet. Now, if you want to change colors and have every round a different color, you certainly can do that. So then you would cut your yarn, and then you would join it here in this chain 2 space. But we're going to slip stitch across to this chain 2 space because we need to get there. So I'm just working a slip stitch. I'm not changing colors. And there we go, slip stitch in that chain 2 space, and now we're going to chain 3. And I'm going to work 2 double crochet in that space. Oops, my yarn just split. Let's fix that. And working that second double crochet for a total of 3. That chain 3 counts as a double crochet. We're going to chain 2. And we're going to work 3 double crochet back in that chain 2 space. And now we are chaining 2. And we're going to work 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet in the next chain 2 space. And we're going to repeat that around with a chain 2 in between. So there is 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. Chain 2, and working 3 double crochet in that chain 2 space, and then we'll chain 2 again and work 3 more. So this is a corner, so you can see how we've established the corner with the 3 double crochet. There's the chain 2 and then the 3 double crochet, all in that chain 2 space. So now we chain 2, we got to finish up our third corner and working 3 double crochet in there. Chain 2, and our last corner, working 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. So as you can see, this works up fairly quickly, and then we have one more round to complete our little mini granny square here. Okay, so to complete round 2, we're just working that chain 2, and we're going to join on top of that first chain 3. And there we go, we have round 2 complete. Okay, so let's begin round 3. So we are going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet in that stitch, right in that chain 3. So we're going to single crochet in the next double crochet. So sometimes it can get a little crunched there, so just make sure you don't forget it. So we're going to single crochet in there, single crochet in the next double crochet, and then in this chain 2 space we're going to work 2 single crochet, and we're just going to continue around. We're going to work 1 single crochet in each double crochet and work 2 single crochet in each chain 2 space. So at the end of your round you're going to have 40 single crochet. Okay, so I'm working my final single crochet. So now we need to join this. So we're going to do it in a specific way. So you're going to need a yarn needle to do that. So I have one right here. And how we're going to do that. So first of all, you want to pull your yarn out like this. And now we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut it right in that loop. So now you take the yarn from the ball, your working yarn, we're going to pull that, just like that. We don't need it anymore. Okay, so now we still need to join. So what we're going to do is you're going to take your yarn needle. So here is our first stitch right here. You're going to insert your yarn needle. You want to insert it this way, so pointing up into the first leg of the V. So if you're looking at the tops of your stitches here, you can see it looks like a V. So here's one leg here, here is the other leg. So you want to insert it this way in that first leg of the V, just like that. And you're going to take your little tail, you're going to thread that through, pull it through. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the other side of the V right here. So what I usually like to do is I like to turn it this way, so now I have the wrong side facing. So I'm going to take my yarn needle. So before we pointed it up, now we're going to point it down. So on the other side of the V, this is the other leg. I'm just putting my yarn needle down. And I'm going to thread it through, pull it through. We're almost done. And now we need to go back to the other side. So this is our last stitch right here. So we're going to insert our yarn needle down in the leg of the V closest to you. So we're inserting our yarn needle down into that leg of our V, and we're going to thread our yarn through and pull it through. And now we have, as you can see, created a really nice invisible join there. And your granny square is all done. So what you need to do is we need to make 14 of these, and I've already done that. So here they all are. So here is all, I used green, dark blue, light blue, and tan. So now what we need to do is we need to attach these so it looks like a dress. So we're going to start with the front of our dress. So you're going to have 4 squares. So we'll use this color, this one, and this one. So we need to sew down here and here to get them attached. So I'm going to do it, you can do it however you like. You can stitch it across, you can sew it across. I'm going to do the mattress stitch is what they like to call it. And I'm going to do it, I know you can do it with it right side. I think it looks a little better doing it wrong side. So I am going to do that. All right, so I am pretty particular. So you could use all the same color, but I'm actually going to use the tan and the dark blue here because I don't really want things to show. Mattress stitch is almost invisible, but it's, I think you can still see it if you're using a contrasting color that's not matching with what you stitched. Okay, so what I've done here is I have threaded my yarn needle. I'm going to take these two on the bottom here and I'm just going to match them up. So I have my right sides touching, and I'm going to look for, so here's our corner here. We worked 2 single crochet. So I'm going to work in the front loop, the loop that's closest to me. I'm going to insert my hook with my yarn needle pointing down into, so here's the 2 stitches in the corner. So this one, the one that's closest to the side here. So that front loop, pointing it down. And now I'm going to go on the other side, the other square. And so here are those 2 single crochet. I am going to do it in the back loop now. So this is the front loop. So here's the front loop here of that single crochet. Here's the back loop. I'm going to point my needle down and just pull it through. So I'm going to go again in the front loop only on the other side, and I'm not doing it tight. So now I'm going into the back loop. So what you're going to see here, we have it kind of is like a little zigzag across. And as someone said, I heard with this, it's kind of like if you're lacing, you know, you're tying your shoes when you get new laces for your sneakers and you know, lace them like that. It's similar. But again, you can attach your squares however you like. If you don't really like this method, then, you know, feel free to attach them however it's comfortable for you. Alright, so I have stitched across here with my mattress stitch. So when you're done, what you'll do is you want to grab your ends and you're just going to pull it so it tightens it all up, but you don't want to pull it too much hard. And I'll pull on this side too. And then you flip it over and you can see that it's nice and neatly attached there. So what you need to do is, so I'm going to get my other color. So I'm going to cut this yarn because I'm going to be using the dark blue. Because again, I want it to, if I use the tan on this, it might show through. So I want to use a coordinating color. So I am going to attach across using the dark blue. Okay, so I have stitched these guys across. We have these stitched across. So what I'm going to do is, so here's my tail. I want to use this to sew when we attach the rest of it. So what I'm going to do is a little trick. I'm going to just hold this down. I don't want to create tension. I'm just going to pull it to have that. So I don't have to cut here and here. So I'm trying to save on some ends. So I'm just going to pull that just to give me a tail for sewing when we attach them all together. So we have the front of our dress here. Okay, so now we're going to flip it over. So here's my tail for sewing, and I'm going to get my tan again, and I'm going to sew across here, and then I'm going to pick up my blue and then finish across. So let me get to my tan. Alright, so here we go. We have the front of our dress. So now we need to continue attaching our squares. So we need to work on the sides here. Okay, so here is the front. So now what we want to do is we want to attach 2 on the sides here. And you're going to, so you're going to have 1 here. We're going to actually attach, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is going to be the back here. These 2 here are going to be the back. And then this is going to be the sides like this. So I'm trying to kind of explain the construction. So basically you want to attach 1 here, 1 here, and then these 2 around. So it's going to be like a tube, basically. So why don't I do that? And then once you see it done, then it'll make more sense. Okay, so I have stitched the sides. So now you can see what I mean, where it's like a circle here. So this is going to be the back of the dress, and we will make some straps. This is the sides, this is the front. So we need to finish the skirt here by sewing the rest of our squares. So we have 6, so you're just going to match wherever, wherever you want to put them, and you're going to be sewing another circle around. So I'm going to go do that, and I will meet you back. Okay, so I finished attaching all of my squares for my dress. So you can see this is the front here, and then here are the sides. This is the back. And I already wove in my ends too, just to make life a little bit easier. Okay, so now we're going to work on some trim. We still need to do the straps. So let's do the trim first before we do the straps. So I'm going to start on the back, and I'm just grabbing my green here, because this is the yarn I have the most of. I'm trying to use up some stash. This is a great stash busting project. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to attach the yarn in any stitch here on top of one of these squares. And I'm going to chain 1, and I'm just working single crochet. And I'm going to continue to single crochet across. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to single crochet across here. I'm also going to single crochet up and across the front and then down the other side. And I think I'm going to do 2 rounds. So you're just going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch. And it's just to give it a little bit more of a cohesive look here. So I'm just working my single crochet. And I'm even going to work right in this center here. And then in the single crochet in the next square. So I'm just going to continue around working single crochet, and then what I'm going to do is I'm not going to join with a slip stitch. I'm just going to keep going and working another round of single crochet. So I will work my 2 rounds of single crochet. I will meet you back. Okay, so I just finished round 1 here, and I just wanted to show you how I was going to start round 2. So I'm grabbing a stitch marker here. I'm going to place that in my last stitch, and I'm not joining with a slip stitch. I'm just jumping right in and working single crochet in that first stitch for round 2, and I'm just continuing to work single crochet around. And then when I get to the end of the round, I am going to join like we did with the squares using my yarn needle so that it looks pretty invisible. So I'm going to keep going, working my single crochet for round 2. Okay, so I finished stitching my trim, and then I joined how we did with our square. So as you can see, I've already worked one of the straps. So when you do the one strap, you're going to attach your yarn on the end here. So I just kind of went up, I just eyeballed it and attached it right on the end, but we need to work the other one. So the strap directions for this is the left front strap, will be the same for the right front strap. You're just going to be attaching over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to count 4 from the end. So here is 1, 2, 3, 4. So right here is where I want to attach my yarn to begin the second strap. And then the directions are the same. So when you work the left front strap, you're going to attach your yarn on the end, and then the right front strap, you're attaching it how I just showed you. Okay, so to begin the strap, you're going to chain 3. And we're going to double crochet in the next stitch. And now we're going to work a double crochet decrease or together stitch. So I have yarned over. I'm going to insert my hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over again, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. I have 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. So I have worked that together stitch. Okay, so row 2, we're going to chain 3 and turn our work. And we are working so we are going to double crochet in that next stitch there for row 2. So now we have just 2 stitches. So now we're going to begin row 3. We're going to chain 3, turn our work, and we're going to be working a shell. So we are going to double crochet in this same stitch, first stitch here, chain 2, double crochet right back in that stitch, and work another double crochet in that stitch. So now we have worked our shell, and now we're going to continue working shells. We're going to chain 1, turn our work. We're going to skip the first double crochet and slip stitch in the next one. Now we're slip stitching in that chain 2 space, and we're going to work the shell just like we did for row 3. This is row 4. And there we go. So what you're going to do is you're going to repeat row 4, so rows 5 through 7, you're going to repeat row 4, working the shell. So I'm going to go do that and I will meet you back. Okay, so I've worked my 7 rows. Now, depending on your doll, you might need to make your strap longer or shorter. That is completely up to you. And depending on your doll, you might need to repeat row 4, have more rows, because each 18-inch doll, sometimes the fit can vary, but this is good for the doll that I have. But your doll, you might need to make more. You could actually do less as well. Okay, so this is the last row. This is row 8. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And again, we're going to skip that first stitch. We're going to slip stitch into the next one, slip stitch in that chain 2 space, and we're going to chain 2. Or chain 3, I'm sorry. It counts as a stitch. We're going to double crochet in that chain 2 space, and we're going to work a double crochet decrease or together stitch in that chain 2 space. And now we need to attach the strap to the other side. So what I did is I just slip stitched across. So I turned, let me just get a longer loop here, so we don't undo what we just did. Okay, so I turned my dress inside out, so the wrong side is facing, and here is my strap. So, sorry, focus. You just want to eyeball it, so I just kind of straightened her out like that, and I'm going to slip stitch across here. So I went to chain 1. So I'm going to chain 1, so I've turned, I'm ready to go. So we're going to slip stitch across 3 stitches. So what I did is I kind of so these 2 squares are the back of the dress, so I kind of looked on the edge of the square, and we're going to count in 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. So we're going to work here. So we're going to slip stitch into that stitch and then go back into our strap and slip stitch. Now, if this is too difficult for you or you don't like it, you can certainly just sew it across. And I'm going to work 3 slip stitches, and then I'm going to work into that chain 3 as well. And then I am ready to cut my yarn. And I'm going to turn it right side out. And so now we have both straps completed, and we're almost done. So we're going to work a trim on the bottom just so it looks a little bit more complete. And this dress is quite the mini dress. It's just a cute little mini dress. So I'm going to do the same thing as I did here. I'm going to attach in any single crochet, and I'm going to work 2, maybe 3 rounds. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to single crochet all the way around just like I did single crochet here. So I am going to work at least 2 rounds. I'm going to see how it looks. I might want to work 3. I'm just going to kind of figure it out as I go along. So what you'll do is you're just going to single crochet all the way around, however many rounds you would like. And I am going to work continuous rounds like I did for the top of the dress. So I'm going to place my stitch marker in that last stitch and then just jump right in. So I will meet you back with either 2 or 3 rounds. Okay, so here is my dress. I did do 3 rounds. I really like how it looks with the 3 rounds, and I already woven all my loose ends. And I think it turned out super cute. I'm really happy with how this project turned out, even though there were a zillion ends to weave in, but it still, I think, was really, really a cute project. And if you would need to block it, you know, certainly feel free to do that. And I also made another one using more colors. So you can see this one where I used 2 different colors, one in the center and then the outside color. And then I decided that the edging would be all of the same color, so this gray. And that made it a little bit easier when stitching these together. So if you don't like the mattress stitch, then, you know, just stitch it together. You can whip stitch it, or you can even slip stitch them together. However you want to attach your squares, you can certainly do that. Now the only thing with using lots of colors here, so here's the back of it, is there's just a lot of ends. With these kind of projects, they're just going to be a lot of loose ends to weave in, but they are really, really cute. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.